back to the show, to the Speak to Transform podcast and show. This is actually episode number 1 of our new brand, of our new podcast name it. We used to be called the Kingdom Women Speaker Podcast. So if you've been tuning in for a while, you would have known that we were called that. But in the last little while, I decided to actually rebrand to the original name that I have been branded on YouTube, which is the Speak to Transform show. And of course, the Speak to Transform podcast is going along with that. So welcome to episode number 1 of our new rebrand Speak to Transform. Now, let me introduce myself if you are new to the show, to this podcast, so that we can get really acquainted and be able to help you understand what it is that we are doing here in order that might be of benefit to you or people in your world. Well, the first thing is I am a certified speaking coach, and I go by Lisa V for short. One, because it's just easier for people to have to pronounce my name sometimes or even spell it. So Lisa Vanderkwaak is my name. It's Dutch background. My husband is Dutch background, but I go by Lisa V, and the channel is lisav.tv. And I help kingdom minded entrepreneurs turn their experiences and expertise into a profitable and freedom lifestyle business that impacts lives. Does that sound like something that you want to have, that you want to build? Well, this didn't come by, so quickly for me. I've been at this thing for a number of years, and today you're going to learn a little bit about that journey. But have you ever felt like you had to trade one for the other, impact and income? That somehow you couldn't do both? That if you focused on impacting lives, that you just had to settle for not being able to generate large amounts of income or high figure income? Or the opposite, if you went after really selling high ticket, that you would have to somehow shortchange the impact? Well, I'm here to tell you that you don't have to compromise either one, that actually they go hand in hand, hand in glove. And if you are showing up who you are, fulfilling the call in your life, and being authentically you in developing who you're called to be, then you will naturally impact the lives of those you're meant to reach. And as an offshoot of that, they will want to actually invest in themselves by working with you. And so the income will follow the impact. You don't have to. Now, you might need to tweak a little bit of what you're doing, whether it be in your communication or in how you're showing up or in what it is that you're offering, so that you can actually build a profitable lifestyle business that also gives you the freedom, time freedom, to do the other things in your life. So you're not neglecting other areas of your life. And that's exactly one of the things that you're going to learn on this show, is actually a system that I discovered that really simplified my life. And I want to share that with you because it has brought such a transformation in my own life as I learned how to not only communicate, go from being scared to speak to now training people to speak. I developed the skills to not just inform, but to transform, to learn how to create a transformational experience for those who I speak to, whether it be on stage physically or on stage virtually. This is really important. Now, I'm here to tell you that there is a simpler way to do business online, and the online space has made it even more simpler. But you may have been like me and at one point felt so overwhelmed with all the options. One of the questions that I get asked a lot is, Lisa, how did you become so passionate about helping women create a profitable and freedom lifestyle business through the speaking online? How did you get started doing what you're doing? Well, for me, it started over 16 years ago. I know. The internet was really not a thing then. In fact, it was around, but there was not a video component to it. But when I first got into the online space, it was within months of my husband passing away. My husband, who had been married to for 17 and a half years, and we'd had 3 children together. And I found myself a widow with 3 little ones now looking to me to be their sole provider and support. And I had just left my career, my position, and God had asked me to start my own business outside the four walls of a church because I was in ministry just prior to that, and I was working at a church. And I didn't know the first thing about business. So here I was, no secure income. Now the pressure to go out and earn an income because not only did I need it, my kids needed it and really didn't have any secure income at that point. So that was the place I was in. And to be honest, even though God had called me to start a business, I began to second guess it because I would hear, you know, have you ever had people in your life who are good people, well-meaning people, they love you, and but they just maybe don't see the things that you see, and they see that you are doing something that maybe they don't understand. They say, "Lisa, why don't you just go and get a job? Why don't you just, stop all this dreaming big and trying to do something different and just go out and get a job?" Now, I know they love me, and really that's not a bad option at some point, at some time in someone's life, but I know that God had spoken to me to go out and start my own business. So I said, "Lord, what do I do now?" He said, "Lisa, just do what I asked you to do. I will guide you and provide for you." And so that set me on a journey. And, just shortly after that, I received an email from a friend of mine who said, "Hey, you need to listen to this seminar that's happening online." It's a teleseminar. This is dating me. 16 years ago, the internet was more of like telesummits or teleseminars. It was phone in. You get a phone in conference line. And I jumped on this call. And while I was listening, I heard a woman, one of the speakers, say that she was making six figures speaking online and she was doing it from home. She had four little kids and she was speaking, coaching, and that she had developed this system. And I was intrigued. I'm like, that's what I want because I had already been like worried, staying up at night, feeling the pressure of having to create an income somehow out of nothing. But this gave me some direction. As I began to listen in, I decided to jump on this woman's email list. And very shortly after that, invested in her coaching program. Now, I did not have the money, I couldn't afford it. But I realized that I needed to learn a few things if I was going to do what she was doing, which I felt like I was to do, is to, out of my home, begin to coach and speak and provide an income so I can have the flexibility to be with my family, my kids, and help transition and walk through the navigation through the times that we were going through in our grieving and our change of life and all these things. But I realized that it was actually gonna cost me more if I didn't invest because I was gonna try to figure it out on my own, and I didn't know the first thing about business, especially not online. So I jumped in, and that was the beginning of my learning the online space. And from that, I began to earn income just following what she was doing and created my own first product, began to do interviews online and summits. And before you know it, I was doing coaching both in person and then doing stuff online, selling products and programs. But then it came a point where the internet kind of opened up in a whole new way, and especially when everybody came on the internet in 2020, right? Everybody came on. And then there was like this overwhelm came over me because now there were so many options online that we can tap into, so many ways of doing business, so many models. Let me know if you've ever been overwhelmed by the options. There was a study done years ago, and they looked at women thinking, you know what, in today's age, we have so many options available to us as women that probably women were happier and more satisfied because there was more available for us to engage in that would be outside the home or doing things. And so they did a study to see, and what they discovered is that actually women were not happier. Their happiness quotient didn't go up. But actually, they found that it was less. They were less happy. Why? Because there were so many options. And women would get paralyzed because they didn't want to miss out. They didn't want to make the mistake of choosing the wrong path. Have you ever felt that way? Well, I was in that state where I had been learning some things and I had been doing some things, but then I was started to add on other things, and then I got really overwhelmed. I had enjoyed a measure of success, but it wasn't at the level that I really wanted. I knew there was another level. And that's when I was introduced to an elite group of speakers and online entrepreneurs that were kingdom focused, who taught me a simpler, faster way to do it, but in a way that was in alignment with who I was and what I want to accomplish. Have you ever been in a program where great stuff, you learned stuff? I know when I went in through my coach training, when I first became a certified life coach and corporate coach, I went through a program that was really good, learned lots of great stuff, but it was so out of alignment with my faith. There was a lot of stuff I had to weed through. It was not biblically based. And then I went on to become a certified speaking coach. And today, I'm happy to say that now there are programs, and I'm in a community where we are helping kingdom-minded entrepreneurs get their credentials as a coach, a life and leadership coach, or as a kingdom speaker that is in alignment with your values. But here I was at this place of overwhelm, and I got introduced to this group of speakers and online entrepreneurs who taught me a simpler way, a faster way. It would allow me to have not only the greatest level of impact that I wanted, but be able to generate the income to fund what I felt like God was calling me to do, even in a shorter period. And I could do this in a condensed time. I could make more money in a short amount of time. So now it allowed me to leverage what I was learning to be able to have more time freedom. Do you need more time freedom in your life? Are you finding that what you started as a business has become a job and it's not giving you the result that you hoped it would? Well, this might be the answer that you're looking for. So as I began to implement this system, I tweaked it for my purposes and created what's called the profitable system, the profitable speaker system that you're going to learn about in our next episode next week. I'm going to walk through the exact system with you, the pillars of that, so you understand exactly what's involved. But it was a simpler and faster path to making six figures in less time. It was the exact vehicle I was looking for. And as I began to test it out, it worked. It worked. I began to make iterations of what I was doing and eventually have my first six-figure day. Isn't that cool? So I know that if it worked for me, it can work for you. But here's what I discovered. I discovered that this not only worked for me, but also helped other kingdom-minded entrepreneurs, women and men, who wanted to have a big impact, but yet not have to spend all their time worrying about money and creating the income that they needed to fuel the mission that they were on, the focus that they were on to reach more people. And so this model allows you to do exactly that. And that's why I'm so passionate about passing this on now to other kingdom entrepreneur women who maybe were are at the place where I was even 5 years ago and are in overwhelm with all the tech, with all the things out there. The beautiful thing about this system is it brings together all the components of business that are needed in order to have a successful business, but it's all done in one place. We like to say immersion leads to conversion. And that's what this system has allowed me to do is as I help people to help build, like and trust with the people that I'm reaching out to and connect with them in a deeper, more meaningful way, they will naturally want to engage in the process because they see the transformation that it can bring in their life. So you are going to learn about this system next week, and it all involves an online virtual event that you can do in a day. So just think about showing up once a month, having a live virtual event that helps you generate 5 figures, 6 figures, even 7 figures in a single day. What would that do to your life and business? So that now you have the freedom to use the other days of the week and the other days and weeks of the month to be available for your children, maybe to homeschool if you're homeschooling, to travel, to take care of aging parents, whatever it is that you need to do to free up your time. Who likes simple? I love simple. And this is the beautiful thing about this system that I discovered, and that why I'm so passionate about passing it on to other kingdom minded entrepreneurs, and specifically women, where you get to develop your skills to speak more clearly, more confidently, in a way that connects with your ideal audience, but now has a way to convert them into paying clients. So now you begin to serve them at the highest level while showing up in a very simplistic way. You don't even have to know the tech. You don't even have to be techie. Trust me. So that's why I'm so passionate, because I know the transformation that's happened in my life, not only learning how to speak, learning how to become a better communicator by developing the skills that I learned, but also now being able to use speaking to grow your business, to forward your mission, to raise the funds that you need for your nonprofit, whatever it is. Speaking is the absolute best and fastest route to do that, but doing it in a way that is non salesy, that is simple, and that reaches your ideal audience, both with impact and generating the income that will create a profitable freedom business for you. Well, let me know in the comments, what is your biggest takeaway? And be sure to subscribe and share this episode with someone you know needs to hear it, but also so that we can spread the word that kingdom entrepreneurs are on the move. There's a movement of raising up the solutionaries. I call them the solutionaries, to bring solutions into every sector of society. And I want to give you a free gift if you are wanting to either just get started in learning how to communicate more effectively, develop your speaking skills, or maybe you've been speaking for a while and you want to go to the next level. Go to speakergift.com and pick up my free resource that will help you become the kind of speaker that doesn't just inform, but you actually speak to transform lives and livelihoods. Thank you for tuning in today. We look forward to connecting with you next time, the next episode. And remember, your voice is an instrument of transformation and needs to be heard. So let it be heard.